wanting to make this video for months now. It has been a plan for so long, but I wanted to do it right before season 3 came out, just to kind of prep myself with all the knowledge I need to get ready for the last season. This summer I turned pretty. I started this last night because I have such a busy week, but I really wanted to film it this week because I really wanted to read it. I have read these books before, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've ever read the third one, so that makes me even more excited because I have something to look forward to. I read for about an hour last night and I got to page 103, and these books are so short that it's so nice because recently I've been deep into fantasy and I've been reading 500 to 600 page books and they kind of feel like a trek, and so this is like nice, short and sweet. And I started reading it last night and the feelings I got, it just felt like I was going home. Like, it was so nice. And I forgot that these are YA, so the actual words are so easy to digest. It's simple language. I've been so into fantasy, so I have to think differently when I'm in fantasy, and this is just everyday beach town summer life, and it's so insanely perfect. So we are gonna read just a little bit, and I do have some more work to do. So I woke up pretty early today in hopes I would read before my meeting, and I didn't get to. So I am gonna read a bit now, and then I have to drive somewhere for another meeting, and I'll probably be listening to the audio then. So tag along with me to see if I can finish this series. I'm so excited. So it is a couple hours later. I do have a different shirt on because I have to put on 5,000 outfits before I leave. we are giving a little update while I make some dinner. I read this morning at the beach for a little bit. I only was there for maybe an hour-ish or so, and I really didn't get that far into the book. It was so stinking peaceful. It was cloudy and it was very gloomy, and it was just about to rain in like maybe an hour and a half. And so it was really windy, and it was just something about it was so nice. I'm on page 168 now, and I have just a tiny bit left of this one. And honestly, my feelings for this one are good. Again, I feel like what I think is so cool is that the show is exactly like the book. It follows the same exact storyline, just tweaks here and there to make the storyline like have more characters. Like in the first book, Stephen leaves the whole entire book, but in the show he's there. This is just vibes. Like I don't know how else to describe it. Like it's cozy, it's comfy. It just reminds me of a time where I loved this book and this series, and I'm having the best time with it. So I'm gonna eat some dinner and read a little bit and just hang out. And I definitely will probably be finishing this tonight. And I'm so excited. So excited. This is probably one of my favorite videos ever. I don't know why. I just love it so much. My midway thoughts are, I think I like the show a little bit more, and I think that's the bad part of having a show is that you can compare. And I liked the party in the show more than in the book, because in the book it's only Jer, Conrad, and Belly, and so it's just the three of them, and it's like nothing really gets explained except that she gets wasted and she wants to go for a swim. That is really it. But in the book, they have everyone come, they have Taylor come, they have Steven come, they throw this whole thing, and it's this whole like montage of them getting ready for this big party, and then like them getting dressed up and having fun. Like that is one of my favorite episodes ever. I've seen that episode alone so many times. It wasn't giving as much as the show, because the show, it just elicited just being a teenager and having a high school party. Like something about it was just, the way they created it was so insanely good and fun. Another point I wanted to mention here is that I don't think when I was younger I noticed this, but now that I'm older, I'm kind of realizing just how Belly always wishes for something more. Like she's never grateful for the life she has. I don't think I realized like just how bad it is that she has this mindset of, oh, I wish Susanna was my mother, and I wish that like my parents actually loved each other, and da 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 da. I don't think I mind her in the first book, but in the second book, she's starting to become a little bit redundant and a little bit annoying. And I don't think that's me being too critical about it or anything. There was like this point in the book where she's talking to her mom and Susanna, and she's talking to Susanna, and she's like, Susanna, are you and Mr. Fisher gonna dance? And she's like, I don't know, like probably. And then she turns to her mom and she's like, Mom, are you and Dad gonna dance? She's probably not, like your dad doesn't like to dance. And then she was like, he's just so boring. Her mom's like giving her examples of, oh, well, you know, he does this for you and he does this for you, and I don't think it's boring if you have a good dad. And then it says in the book that Susanna and her mom like gave a glance to each other. Belly just not understanding, like, oh, well, like he's a good dad. He may be boring to you, but he's a good dad. Is that she kind of just always wishing for something, and I want to like yell at her and be like, be grateful for where you are. Like it just enjoy where you are and happy in your life, and that's how you're gonna reach your fairy tale dreams and goals and wishes and hopes and dreams that you have been conjuring up ever since you were little on your first day at Cousin's Beach. Like just sit and milk this in for a minute and stop wishing. Like I don't know. I feel like this is a conversation that we need to have together. Conrad or Jeremiah? Before, when I was younger and I watched this, I loved Conrad. One, I found him more attractive in the show, and two, I will just always fall for the grouchy guy that has like a soft spot for her. And now reading the books again, I think it's Jeremiah. But I think it's Jeremiah because he's just so fun and so optimistic and just so bubbly. And I feel like Belly kind of has these, what you would call like weird characteristics. Like she does weird things that like other people would be like, ah, like that's dumb. And I feel like Jeremiah looks at her and is like, that's my girl, and like cheers her on. Like he's just so supportive and fun and like lets anyone be themselves. But what I find interesting, and this is a theory based on memory, that I think I like Jeremiah in the books and Conrad in the show. So I think I'm right. I have to watch the show after I read these books to actually figure out if that's the dealio, and I'm gonna do that at the end of this video. I'm gonna start it. I think that's how it goes. I think it's Conrad in the show because I feel like he's portrayed differently and not as like, rah, I hate everything, I hate life, I just smoke cigarettes and I'm so upset about everything. Like that's how he's in the books, and it's a little annoying. I'm like, okay, dude, like the whole world doesn't revolve around you. You have a whole family, like you have a brother that loves you and will do anything for you. And like their situation is terrible and it's really sad. And personally, like I don't know how I would even process or go through that. But Jeremiah just having to be like so strong. But I love that we get his perspective in this book because you get the perspective of like never being loved by his dad. Though he described this like scene where he was wrestling his brother when he was younger and he won. And his dad was like, oh, Conrad, you should have done this better, you should have done this better, blah, blah, blah. Didn't even acknowledge that Jeremiah won. Like, that sucks. I'm gonna finish this book right now. Today is Thursday, June 5th, and I have literally like nothing left, like maybe 20 pages. So we're gonna sit down and finish this book. I feel like I say that a lot. I came on here just to let you know that I have finished We'll Always Have Summer. I pretty much read this in a day. I started it last night around this time and I just finished it about 20 to 30 minutes ago. And I kind of sat with my thoughts for a little bit, but I mean, considering how fast I read it compared to the other two, again, this was like a book I didn't know what to expect, so it definitely threw me for a loop when we got in. And I think it ended exactly the way it needed to end. I definitely will talk about it a little bit more, probably in the next clip, which is going to be tomorrow, but it's pretty late now, and on my timer, I am left with 9 hours, 12 minutes, and 29 seconds. And this definitely was supposed to be a, like, can I read these in 24 hours? I think it's really just a read the summer I turned pretty with me for a week. So I just wanted to say that I finished this book, and I can't believe I read all three so stinking fast. That's crazy. That is crazy. I was so motivated and I'm so excited because you know what we're doing tonight? We're watching episode 1 of season 1. I've been waiting for this moment. I think that's why I read it so fast too, is I've been waiting to press play so I can watch one of my favorite scenes, which is the party scene in season 2. You know what I'm talking about. Let's get into it. I can't believe I did that. I did it. I read all 3 books. I am just so excited that we made it to this point and I can talk to you about my feelings. I'm just going to speed round some thoughts and feelings because I have a feeling this video is pretty long. Obviously, the first one was This Summer I Turned Pretty. I think for me, this one's just a classic. It's everything you want in a first book. It's so summery, it's so beautiful, and it's very nostalgic for me because I like watched the show and read this book in high school, so now reading it when I'm a little bit older is kind of funny. Obviously it is a YA book, so I don't expect anything crazy, no crazy lyrical literature that I'm gonna pull out and talk about, but overall the theme and the way that this book is written is so fun. I personally prefer this book over the show, but either way, I love both so much, but personally I would want to read the book over the show. It's Not Summer Without You. Kind of already talked a lot about like my feelings on this one, and I had read this book before and I've seen the show season 2 of this one before, but I think for me in the book I found Belly to be just a little bit bothersome. She's a very bothersome character in this book, and I found it hard to hear her thoughts and watch her actions because I just necessarily would never do that or agree with that. So the show is a lot different because in the book you kind of get more fighting between Taylor and Belly, and I think it really shows Belly's character. But either way, I did love how Belly, Jeremiah, and Conrad, and just like the 3 of them, and the road trips and having fun, and things are a little bit weird, and I think the progression of this book was was done very well from the first one, and so I thoroughly did enjoy this book. If I were to pick the book or the show, I definitely would pick the show. But yeah, and in this book we get Jeremiah's POV, which I think was a really cool element I enjoyed in this book, just to kind of get more of his perspective. We'll always have summer. Like I mentioned, this was the book I hadn't read, so I didn't really know what to expect, and season 3 isn't out yet. So again, I was going into it blind. I didn't even read the back. I just hopped right into it, and when I said Belly was a character I didn't necessarily agree with in the second book, when I read the third book, it was just heightened like 100 times more. A lot of what she was doing, I was just like, girl, like where are we going, what is happening? And I feel like the majority of the book was just her going back and forth and doing things that was just so confusing and wrong, and I was thrown for a loop. I think I definitely love the aspect of it being in college. I think it's gonna be so fun to see in the show. I hope that they keep it that way, and I liked being able to like watch now that she's older and how she thinks and all these little things that she does was really fun. She was 19 years old, and I love like the character development of some of the other characters in the background from the first book to now. I thought that was a really well written aspect of it, and in this POV we get Conrad's perspective, and I really enjoyed that. I think that I've always been wondering what he's thinking, and I kind of wanted to understand the why behind it before I quickly like judged him. But in this third book, we get that perspective of him, and I really appreciated that, and it made a lot of sense, and it kind of tied it in together. But that is pretty much it. I think if I have to label it Conrad or Jeremiah, I know it's the question y'all have been waiting for. I'm here to give you my final answer, and I think in the end, it's always been the one that I've been attracted to. It's the one I've always had my eye on. I love just a guy who you have to dig and find what he's actually feeling. I love a little puzzle. And so I think for me, it's definitely Conrad. If you've read the third book, you just know. It would have to be Conrad. You always have my heart. That is pretty much it. I am so glad you have hung out with me while I read all these books, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next week reading more books, because that's what we do around here. So I love you all. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you. Bye. I love you.